Welcome to DNA of Grace. I'm Joshua Ranasinghe. This video is about how we go and get ourselves into situations and then we do not know why it happened, the things that happens. So it's very important what Jesus is talking about it. And check it out. And always check everything with the word. Check everything. We're going to talk about a situation that we kind of knowingly or unknowingly that we kind of get caught in it or yoke ourselves in it. So Jesus talks about this yoking ourselves in a bondage situation. Don't do that, because whatever you yoke yourself into, that's what you're going to walk with, even though whether you know it or you don't know it. So he actually in Galatians again chapter 5 says that stand fast therefore in the liberty by which Christ Jesus has made us free, because he has come to set us free. That's one way of finding out whether your understanding is or where your hearing is true or not. Is freedom is key. So Jesus comes and sets us free from death and continue to set us free so we can have life to the fullest. And so yoking yourself will say, even with anything to do with the church, anything to do with the ministry, anything to do with relationships, anything to do with finances, however you yoke yourself, that's what you're going to walk with. It plays a very big part if you are to get married, or your relationship with your friends, whom are you kind of hanging out with. But Jesus says to come to him, so that because his yoke is easy, it's burden is light, his yoke is easy. What does that mean? In fact, he tells them, come to him. What is his yoke? Yoke is being sons. He's inviting us to be sons. Bible says that he invited us to share his inheritance. That's the yoke that he's talking about. So we are not to yoke ourselves with anything else, even though we have friends and so on, but to the level that we understand and we keep our relationship and we learn to walk with Jesus, and that is the yoke that we are choosing to get ourselves engaged in, so that we learn to be sons, but nothing else of this world. Because if you yoke yourself into this world, then that's where it is, and that's where you're going to get stuck. Now, especially I want to tell you about churches and ministries. They're all good. They're just, you're going to church and you're doing what is necessary, and even ministries, but you are not called not to yoke yourself with the church. You're called to yoke yourself with Christ, and we all are called to, because he's the head and we are the body in the realm of the spirit, and that's how it works, and that is the best way to do it. Because otherwise, from one to another, we keep on moving, and we most of the time we have exactly not understood or not seen what we are getting into. And sometimes, just because there are a lot of people are in a situation, a lot of people are believing this or believing that, that doesn't mean that is the truth. So you are to examine, test, and see where the truth is, because the truth will always set you free. The Son will set you free. That's his desire. He cannot deny it. That is his personality. That's his core. That is his nature. He wants to set us free. So remember, if you are hearing freedom, and that is good, still you are to yoke yourself with Christ, not with a group of people. And because people, when you hear the word shared, most of the time they have their experience and how it came about, including me. I have my experience, and I had to go through some things so that I understand what to be in bondage, that so that I can bring the others. That was my part of God called me to do. So that's why I'm letting you know this. Whomever you yoke yourself, that's where you're going to be, and to that level. See, the awareness bring understanding. You first have to hear. It's like the good news. Jesus said, go and tell. So when they hear it, they can start looking for it. So now you kind of get an idea what it means not to yoke yourself with people or anything or in business that you shouldn't be. So comment on it and don't forget to check on the other videos.